some spots were clearly missed. But overall, it's looking nice. Oh man, everything's been cleaned. I think that's the first time this car's been vacuumed since I bought it. 5 years.
A few months ago, my friend Andy asked if I could introduce him to Tommy. Andy bought a Land Rover Defender last year, his dream car, and he was doing what he could to outfit it the way that he had always envisioned. One of the most expensive pieces, however, was a roof rack. Something that, with the right amount of time and the right materials, Tommy could make in his backyard.
How are you, Chrissy? I'm good. Yes. Tommy, everything's much cleaner than I'm used to. The outside is much cleaner.
So one afternoon, Andy and I hopped into his Landy and headed off to Korca to get it fitted. The rack was made out of pretty solid metal, which meant that it was heavy. Not typically a problem for when it's mounted onto the car, but lifting it on and off while Tommy measured and drilled for the mounts was a bit of a task.
That's the most Tommy answer I
And while the purpose of this trip was to get the rack on top of the car, what I would typically remember from these outings are the in-betweens. The jokes made between the four of us there working on it. The conversations with Andy while Tommy ran off to the hardware store to get nuts and bolts. The small voices of Tommy's kids pleading with me to push them on the swing. These are the moments that make life worth living. These are the moments that I want to bask in and cherish. And it made me realize that I've been trying to focus my videos too much on only exciting things. I frequently caught myself not filming certain parts of my life because they weren't that interesting. I realized that I had forgotten the whole point, to find beauty in the mundane.
I got this plant from Tommy and his wife, and it is starting to get a new leaf, which is so exciting because I killed the last one of these that I had. So nice to see it growing again. I also propagated this one. You can see the cutoff over there. I did it a while ago and it worked, and so then this time I cut off a good section and have put them in here, and they're starting to grow roots. And this guy's still starting to come out, so that's nice. So I'll plant those in the soil soon. Yep. Where did this come from? I did not plant that. Must have been a seed in the soil. Nice.
Something was going on with my refrigerator too. It had been smelling bad, which is strange because I don't typically keep that much stuff inside it in the first place. And despite cleaning it once, the smell just wouldn't go away. I had tried various things like a container of baking soda or an air freshener, even to the point that I sprinkled cinnamon around the shelves just to try to overpower whatever was causing the odor. But none of it worked. So I took everything out and cleaned the entire thing top to bottom for a second time. Hopefully, this time, it would be enough. And those video projects I told you about the last time were still in the works. The shooting was mostly done, so I spent hours behind the computer to finish them off. Recently, I've started thinking about consulting. My knowledge is not exhaustive, but I know more than a lot of people. Having been in the social media and video editing game for over a decade, I have plenty of knowledge and experience to share. So I jumped on a couple calls for people who wanted advice on the best ways to leverage their social media for business, and these calls went deep into the night as the world outside turned black. As I've gotten older, I've been paying more attention to how much I move during the day. On editing days, I tend not to move much. I sit in somewhat of the same position for hours on end staring into a screen. So, to make an effort to actively fight against what that does to my body, I try to spend at least a couple hours per day moving, either in the gym or doing home workouts, or sometimes doing some basketball-specific shooting drills. I haven't spoken very openly about my experience playing basketball this past season. I think part of that was the fact that it was a hard pill to swallow. My childhood dream came true, only for it to be the most miserable part of a large chunk of a year. It was hard to admit that nothing went the way I had hoped, both individually and as a team. I have alluded to things here or there, but ultimately just mentioned that it wasn't a great season. And while I still don't think a public video on the internet is a good place to be giving specifics about what went wrong during the season, I'm willing to talk about what needs to happen moving forward. I've committed to doing my part individually to become a good asset to this club. I've been in the weight room and on the court, doing what I can to better my game, which is not an easy task at 33. However, for this team to be successful next year, if the club wants even a single positive in the win column, there need to be some drastic changes. And they know that. I've even spoken to some of the leadership about it. Will they take the necessary steps? Only time will tell. But I do know this. When that time is up, I will be ready. And I was in the early stages of planning another video project. This time, at my friend Sam's small permaculture farm. So I spent a good amount of time there. Planning, thinking, discussing, and shooting.
Oh, they're tiny.
You know, they bite. What if we need to find like a... Oh, let's stick it down the pond. Yeah, like, put it in there. Put it in there.
I don't want to put it in. I don't want it to get wet. Is there any frogs around?
Yeah, but they're underwater. Probably. There's a turtle in there too.
I don't see any of them.
What are you gonna do? Oh, James.
What?
I have an idea. Why don't you stick it down the pool? Looking at the Panther shirt?
I can't.
Und Truthühner hat auch gekauft, der Sender.
Sehr gut. Esta rápora, esta é válida.
On nights when it's not too rainy or not too windy, I go for walks around the city. I've been in this city for so long, I'm starting to overlook certain things. I'm not noticing the little things like I did when I first moved here 7 years ago. The way the spring rain smells as it drifts down the mountains, or the sounds of the lake waters lapping at the pebbles on the shore. I don't want to lose these things. I want to consciously observe and appreciate each and every one of them. It may not be interesting to other people, but it is to me, and shouldn't that be enough? And one evening, after a walk, my friend Mario decided to make burgers at the cafe where he works. So I stopped by to help. Help serve, but more importantly, help consume.
Të grira kështu e mbamen shumë të olla pastaj. Prit që do nxirr të fëmijëve shumë shpejt. Lemon një Pepsi.
Brother likes to make apple pie, and they're so good.
Do you have any else?
This guy is almost done unfurling. That's so fun. Especially since he's planted in a water bottle. And this one is starting to get, where are they? They're on here somewhere. There we go, right there. Those guys. Yeah, that's exciting.
You're not a turkey. You're a duck. There you are. Got some turkeys back there. Focus.
And when I went back to the farm a few days later, the rain had moved on and the clouds had lifted, allowing the sun to shine its impeccable light. And as I sat there listening to the turkeys gobble, the chickens cluck, and the pigs grunt, I watched the light reflect on the trees and cast shadows in the grass. I forced myself to notice the little things, the things I don't want to forget, because these are the things that matter. This is the magic. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll be back soon.